Okay, so we have a problem, no? This is a student model, as I mentioned during class, and there are many issues in terms of how it was brought up, how it's made, or how can we assign materials. That's like the final problem. We're discovering that these elements are not easy to assign a material because they were brought actually most probably from another program, AutoCAD or Rhino or whatever, and they were brought as SAT. We know how to do that. They were brought as a family structural framing. Maybe some of them make sense as a structural framing, like these ones, but obviously the exterior walls are also structural framing. That doesn't make any sense, no? So how do we go about it? Because we can't assign materials to these SATs. Okay, this is one of the issues that we were figuring out, or we were resolving through bringing them as DWT, as AutoCAD, DWG, and then going to visibility and graphics and so on. Okay, so this is how do we resolve this problem? Okay, so I'm just going to imagine we have done this already, like the idea of file, export, and DWG. We have done this many times, as you know, and as you know, we have brought this into Rhino as a put and as a CIS solid. So I'm not going to do it again because we've done it many times, and that comes into Rhino with this particular shape. Okay, we know this is a good scale because we've done it correctly. You might have already the model inside or not. That's something different. We're not talking about the interior elements, which we know how to bring them in as DWGs. The issue is the other elements. No, so okay. So what I would do is start, hiding things. Hide is a command you can show afterwards to bring it out. So I'm hiding, for example, the roof, and I'm just going to select from the front view all of the trusses. Okay, there you go. Select them all like this, or you can select a bunch of them and then pan and then shift and then select all of them. Going back to perspective, make sure you have all of them. And what you're going to do is export selected as DWG. And I already did it here, so it's truss new trusses, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So you have those, the options when you say, okay, it's going to be 2007 solids. I'm not going to do it because I've done it already. And you're going to bring it into this model. But obviously, before bringing it to this model, we have to do a couple of things. Well, in this model, we need to delete all of the trusses because we're bringing new trusses. So delete, etc. All of them. And also in Rhino, before we do this, it's preferable that we actually create a new layer. We call it new truss, and we obviously right click, change object layer, and maybe you want to even give it a color so you know what color it is. Okay, so let's see if those are there. New trusses. Okay, there they are. So once you have them in that layer, you can turn off and on to see that they're there. You can come back here after you delete all of these trusses one by one. What you do is, as we have done many times. So what do? We do model in place. These are trusses, so it's structural framing. This, yes, it is. Say okay, you give it a name, new truss. You say okay, everything tones down, insert, import CAD, new truss. Okay, open. Now, because there are actually blocks and many of them, it's going to take quite a bit after you say open. So just be patient. Maybe you want to go for coffee, or take a walk, or call somebody and have a conversation. And once they come in, you just say finish model. And I'm going to cancel that because I'm not doing this. It will look like this. There you go. So those are the trusses that I brought in already. They come in the layer we assigned. We can go to visibility and graphics or VV shortcut. Object styles, imported trusses, and here's where you change the color and the rendering material. Okay. So we do that with the roof. We do that with floor element. We do that with pretty much everything, but we have another problem. The next problem is actually that the walls, when you bring them into Revit, they're just not working. So what is the problem? No? Why can't we take the walls into Revit the same way? Well, potentially it's because they're very badly modeled. So I'm just gonna, just for now, delete all this stuff so we can focus on the only on the walls. I'm deleting things. So it is important that we regularly send to Revit a close polysurface. So if you select an element and it says direct shape, blah, 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 chances are that's going to give you a problem. So you can always explode this and then join. Okay. That should give you a closed solid polysurface as long as the surfaces are actually connecting with each other. So once you do that, and if it says closed polysurface, you're in good shape. You can even already place it in a new layer called new walls and right click, change object layer, and make it whatever, gold. And I'm going to turn it off to see. Okay. So there are other elements you might want to take. You might not. Close polysurface, that's a good one. So I'm going to right click new walls, it's going to go there. Okay. This one, I can go and check what it is. It says it's a block. So I'm going to also explode and join. Let's see what happens. Close solid polysurface, that's a good sign. So I'm going to take it to the layer again. And again, you might want these things or not. There are a bunch of private surfaces, so we can take them there. I don't think they're actually well put in place. So, but I'm going to take them as well. See, this door doesn't make much sense. Anyway, so that would be a series of walls. Let's see the other side. Zoom select. So here there are bigger problems. There's actually no wall or no surfaces in front and back. So first thing I'm going to do is explode this. I'm going to select this thing. I'm going to join only those. This is open, so it's not working nicely. Let me see. I'm going to select also these guys. I'm going to see join. That's also open. Let me see how this looks. Maybe this surface here can be joined to that one. Open still. And maybe this one. See how that looks. Okay, I see this other surface. So let me go back. This surface and this one can be joined. And now it's closed. So basically, I'm just selecting all of the surfaces that make that closed element, this one. So that's a good piece. I can take it to new walls. I can hide it. Let's see this other piece here. I'm going to go to the top view. Go back to perspective. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to join those. Obviously, it's not going to be close, but I wonder if I can do a cap. Cap, what it does is, is the caps on flat surfaces. Oh, did it? Select it. Close polysurface. We can take it to that layer. This one, open. I wonder if I can do a cap. Unable to do a cap. I wonder why. So I go to the top view. There's something here. That's a close. I'll take it. It was in the middle of the wall. I'm just going to delete that. That doesn't make sense. This obviously can do a cap there. It's not a close opening. So let me go to the 3D and see what we have here. So that has a cap already, this side. But this one, my guess is that we can't do it because it's not a flat surface. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to use a command cut plane. I'm going to go to 3D so you see what it does. Cut plane allows you to select an object, press enter, and then click 2 times along the place you want to cut to be. look at the 3D perspective. You do that, it understands the vertical dimension, press enter, and you see what happens. It's a cutting plane. So I can do a trim, select the plane, enter, and then select the side of that. So basically trims that part. Now, because I cut it with a plane, it's a perfectly flat surface. Now I can cap it. And now, yes, it's a poly surface. Maybe I can show everything now. Turn on that one and see. I can even bring it next to the wall. And we bring it to that layer. Okay, so let's turn on everything except our new walls. So if we did it correctly, each of those are actually a closed poly surface. So we should be able to select those. Export selected. You're going to call them something like new walls. As you know, all result options 2007 solids. You're going to save. I'm going to do it as I've done this before. Somehow my Revit closed, but anyway, you open your Revit and you do the same, which is model in place. In this case, it's not a truss, it's a wall. And once you say insert DWG, you select the new file that you exported from here, and it should work. Maybe you have some problems with these elements being inside of itself and all the other stuff, but I think it should come in. You should be able to assign materials to the layer new walls. Okay, so let's try that, and if you have any issues, just let me know. That should work to bring each of the elements from Rhino into Revit and being able to assign materials. Remember, before you take it from Rhino into Revit, make sure you place it in a new layer so you can assign to that new layer material. Okay, great.